it was awesome to get back onto the ice. But it kind of had some drawbacks. It was definitely early season ice. And what that means is that it's thin. And when it's thin, you're more likely to hit rocks. So with my equipment being a little bit more dull now, I thought this would be a perfect time to go over keeping your points of contact sharp, but not too sharp. With that being said, let's just jump right into sharpening the equipment. One of the keys to do for sharpening picks is trying to keep it the most factory you can. So you can see right here, I've got a pick on this tool. It's actually in a decent condition. It was struck at one point last season, so we had to sharpen it. But for the most part, as you can kind of see, I've basically kept it pretty close to the same for geometry. And all I'll be doing this time is I won't be putting an extended nose on it. I actually just have to deburr it. All I'm going to do is go flat on it because the burr kind of sticks out on the bottom. And all I'm going to do is profile it so it's flat. So this pick is actually, hit a rock right around here. And it's a little flat. So I will give it a slight nose so it's a little bit pointed again. It's not too bad, but there's just ever so slightly. Okay, so now there's no burr on the bottom, so that's not going to hang up. So that's always great. And then yeah, you just kind of double check to kind of see if you mimicked it enough with the angle. Now obviously, since this pick has been hit before, it's not going to match the same angle as a brand new pick, but it's pretty dang close and will hopefully not displace any ice. So yeah, this pick is done. Okay, so my dry tooling picks. These are pretty worn down. If you can kind of see, that is rounded off and there is not a point to it. That's not the best. I mean, it's not the worst. It gets the job done when you're dry tooling because you are just dealing with rock instead of ice. But it's time to put a little bit of an edge on these, and these are gonna take a little while to do. Okay, so here's a little progress report on this. As you can see, it's getting all shiny because that's all from the metal I've been taking off. All I did was put really kind of a flat on here, and I'm just trying to reshape that point already. On the nose, it's getting pretty sharp. It's not dull anymore, but I still gotta redo that point because right now there is no point. It is just rounded. And there you go. As you can see, there is a tip on it now. It's not the most prominent tip, but I don't really need it to be because this pick is just for dry tooling. So the next thing we're gonna sharpen are our crampons. These kind of took a beat, not necessarily on the ice, well, kind of on the ice a couple times. I know I kind of kicked in a couple times. I knew I smacked a rock, but these kind of got a little bit more dull on the walk off of the climb because we just wore them. So I'm just going to sharpen these a little bit. They don't really have an edge right now on it, and you know, I like to have my crampons at least sharp enough to where if you drag your points down ice, it will grab in and it'll bite in. This one right now is not at that point, so you know, just take a couple of strokes with this file and hopefully it'll be sharp enough. There, I'm decently happy with that. You know, it's not too sharp, but realistically, Like I said, it doesn't really have to be that sharp. It just has to be sharp enough that it'll bite in the ice. Onto the ice screws. So these screws are actually they're in decent condition. I knew when I hit rocks with these screws, I knew when I hit it, and I knew that there's a possibility of it, so I didn't do multiple turns into the rocks. That's when you can really destroy screws and really make them dull and kind of almost flat profiled, is when you keep on screwing the screw into the ice even though you feel that you hit a rock. So if you just are aware that, if you're aware that you're kind of dealing with thin ice and you know there's a potential of hitting a rock, just screw very lightly. And that's what I ended up doing on these. They're not, you can't really even tell on this, like, oh, I don't know if this one will pick up. Like, there's just a tiny little burr on it. And I just want to get rid of that. Will this overall affect performance? Probably not, but I just kind of want to get it off. But I'll be using this tiny little file to do it. And just like that, one screw is deburred. It's plenty sharp. It didn't take much. Just took just a few little glides of this and it's sharp. So do that with the other one. And there, that one's plenty sharp for me. There's plenty of videos out there if you want to know more about sharpening tools or crampons or ice screws. You know, Petzl has made a few about sharpening, but kind of the one that I learned a lot from, I think last year or 2 years ago, was the one that Will Gadd came out with. I thought that one was very helpful. And yeah, and I'll link it so you guys can check that one out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just making sure that you keep your points of contact sharp enough is just an important thing just on your daily maintenance of your equipment. You know, if you at least maintain it a little bit, keep it kind of sharp but not too sharp, you know, it'll last a long time and hopefully, you know, will perform at a very high level. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video and I'll see you guys in the next one.